dare you disrespect the homeowners association? I demand you move these vehicles immediately or they will be towed.
Blue strobes bounced off my garage while the air still bit like ice and the street smelled like wet asphalt and burnt coffee. I opened my door in a hoodie and bare feet and watched a tow truck creep toward my cousin's sedan at 4:27 a.m., backup beeper pecking the dark. The HOA night manager waved a clipboard like a sword. 21st ticket, he said. Then he slapped another orange slip on the windshield with a cold plastic snap. My porch light flickered. My cousin looked at me through the window, wide-eyed, clutching a travel mug that steamed in the cold. I felt my jaw lock. This was my driveway, my guests, my home. The title of this mess says it all. HOA ticketed my driveway guests 22 times. Too bad I am the base commander. I said that out loud to myself in the dark, calm and flat. Not to flex, to set the thesis. This fight was not about rank. It was about rules. About a board that kept inventing fines while pretending our driveways were common areas. They called it safety. I called it control. By sunrise that morning, my mailbox held 3 more envelopes, each for $100, each stamped due immediately. The dates were messy. The photos were grainy. The smell of stale toner came off the paper like a warning that I tried to fix it the easy way. I walked to the clubhouse at 9:00 p.m. on May 3rd, 2024, after duty, still smelling like jet fuel and coffee. Karen, the board president, sat under a framed policy sheet like it was a crown. I smiled. I spoke soft. Let's talk driveway rights. She didn't blink. She said my driveway touched a fire lane. It doesn't. She said guests must pre-register by midnight or be cited at dawn. That's not in the deed or the code. Neighbors avoided my eyes. One whispered later that she was sorry but scared. A guy on the board leaned in and said maybe the rules will relax after the summer. I asked for the written rule. He tapped a blank line on a form and said it covers everything. On my way out, the back door clicked locked behind me like a final word that I drew a line in the sand. Proper channels only. I pulled my kitchen table clean and started the paper trail. I filed open records with the city, the county, and the fire department. A week later, the file landed with 63 pages. Tow logs, call notes, and a map that showed our street as public, not private. I built a timeline across the wall with blue tape and sticky notes. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Timeline item 2, April 12th at 6:02 a.m. tow attempt blocked by neighbor. Timeline item 3, May 3rd at 9:00 p.m. board denial of request for rule copy. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed the city ordinance that defined driveway rights. Plain law line, simple as breath. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I wasn't out for blood. I was out for daylight. The trap had to be polite. I set a meeting through the city liaison for May 24th at 7:30 p.m., open to owners. Before it, I invited 5 friends to park right, wheels behind the sidewalk, no overhang. All registered on the HOA portal to remove excuses. I stood in the dusk and smelled fresh-cut grass and rain on hot concrete. Karen marched down the block with a flashlight and wrote tickets anyway. She told her helper to call in tow. That phone went on speaker. The tow dispatcher asked if the cars were on common property. Karen said yes. I watched the city code officer step from his truck with a body cam humming. He measured from the curb to the garage with a tape. He read the plat map. He said, clear as a bell, this is a public street. The driveways are private, and the HOA has no authority to ticket or tow on either. My binder opened with a soft flap. I slid out the highlighted page. He looked. He nodded. Then he asked Karen where the rule lived. She pointed to the same blank line. The room of lawn chairs on driveways turned into a low wave of whispers and a couple gasps that sounded like laughs. Phones came up. Neighbors filmed the code officer reading the ordinance out loud while a patrol car rolled by slow. The tow truck idled, then clicked into park. The driver rubbed his face and said he was leaving. Someone posted a clip at 8:01 p.m. and the comments popped like popcorn. 22 tickets for a driveway, one wrote. Another said, she's speedrunning fines. Someone counted the orange slips in my binder and typed that exact number under a zoomed pic. I wasn't smug. I was steady. The code officer asked for the HOA's enforcement file, and Karen handed over a thin folder. He flipped, frowned, and asked where the consent letters were. He asked why the timestamps didn't match the photos. He asked who had training to call and fire lane violations. The answers sank like rocks in a pond. By Monday, the flip was complete. The police sent a notice about misuse of emergency lines. The city issued a warning for unlicensed ticketing and opened a civil case. The council clerk emailed me a hearing date and CC'd every homeowner. The HOA's lawyer showed up with a binder and left with a smaller voice. The judge looked at the map, the ordinance, my timeline tape photos, and the audio of that speakerphone call. He ordered the HOA to void all 22 tickets, refund $2,300 in towing threats and processing fees, and post corrected rules within 30 days. The board voted to remove Karen as president. The new interim chair read a statement that began with "We are sorry" and ended with "We will follow the law." The clip of Karen pointing to a blank line hit 12,000 views by noon, with captions of people laughing and my favorite comment, "Blank lines don't beat boundary lines." Peace felt like a quiet Saturday. No orange slips. Number 5 a.m. strobe dance. Kids chalked rockets on the sidewalk. My cousin came back with donuts. We set up a small table in my driveway and poured lemonade. A couple of neighbors who used to look down now looked me in the eye. One brought a folding chair and a thank you card that said, "You made this street normal again." I waved when Karen walked her dog past my mailbox. She nodded once, tight but real. I do not need to win. I need fair. The HOA posted the new rule sheet last week, with clear lines and written consent steps. At the bottom, in plain words, it said, "The association shall not ticket or tow from private driveways or public streets." I closed my binder, slid it on a shelf, and let the smell of summer and simple rules wash the last anger away. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.